if you find meaning in the stories I share here. Your support means the world. Hitting that subscribe button helps keep this journey alive. Now, let's dive into today's story. I had a sinking feeling the moment I slid the keycard into the hotel room door. My gut was in revolt, warning me something about this was deeply wrong. But nothing prepared me for what I saw when I stepped inside. My husband, Marcus. The breath left my lungs. This all began a month and a half ago. Marcus and I had been married for 9 years. To everyone around us, we were the picture of stability, reliable, steady, maybe even enviable. But behind closed doors, it felt like we were stuck on repeat. The same motions every day. Wake up, work, dinner, sleep. No surprises, no fire. We weren't broken, just stuck. I kept reassuring myself that it was just a rough patch, that all marriages go through it. But then came Julian. Julian was part of the external marketing team brought in by our company. He had a presence, attentive eyes, genuine smiles, and a way of making you feel seen in a room full of distractions. I hadn't realized how invisible I'd started to feel until Julian noticed me. It began innocently. Coffee after meetings. Quick chats that turned into late-night messages. I kept telling myself it was nothing, that it was safe. But deep down, I knew better. One Friday evening, I found myself sitting in Julian's car outside my office. We were laughing about something, I don't even remember what, when he leaned over and kissed me. I pulled away instantly, the word married tumbling from my lips. He nodded. Me too, he said quietly. The air between us turned thick with guilt and something dangerously tempting. We didn't say much after that. I should have ended it right there, but I didn't. The next week, we met again, different cafe, different part of the city. I told myself it was just a talk, that I needed clarity. But we both knew what we were really doing. One night, after Marcus had gone to bed, I stood alone in the kitchen when Julian's text lit up my screen. Something in his message made my stomach flutter, a thrill and a warning all at once. He'd booked a room. No pressure, he wrote. Just a talk. I stared at that text for ages. I typed no, then deleted it, then typed okay. The day of the meeting, I told Marcus I had a networking dinner for women in my industry. He barely looked up from his laptop. Some part of me wished he'd noticed something was off, ask questions, call me out. But he didn't. I arrived early. It was one of those upscale boutique hotels. Soft lighting, faint perfume in the air, velvet everything. I felt jittery. My thoughts were spinning with justifications. We're just talking, I told myself. This isn't cheating yet. I took the elevator to the 7th floor, room 712. My fingers shook as I held the keycard. But when I opened the door, it wasn't Julian waiting. It was Marcus. He stood near the window, perfectly still, his face unreadable, voice calm. But his eyes, they held a fire I'd never seen before. Pain, betrayal, fury, all masked behind a terrifying stillness. I couldn't move. What are you doing here? I managed to say, barely a whisper. He didn't respond immediately, just gestured toward a chair across from him, like we were there for a scheduled meeting. Not a marriage collapsing under the weight of silence and secrets. I've been tracking everything for the past month, he said in a low voice. Not in person. Digitally. Your texts, emails, the hotel booking. I needed to see if you'd actually go through with it. My throat tightened. Words wouldn't come. I felt like I was drowning in shame. But he didn't stop. You did. My legs buckled, and I sat down. I couldn't tell if I was angry with him, ashamed of myself, or just terrified of what was coming next. Probably all three. I don't know where to begin, I murmured. He looked at me like I was someone he didn't recognize anymore. Try honesty. So I did. I told him everything. How Julian made me feel noticed again. How I'd felt like I was slowly fading in our marriage. How I tried to pull away, but couldn't. And how I hadn't physically betrayed him. Not yet, but I'd wanted to, and that alone felt like enough. Marcus listened silently. Then he stood up and walked toward the door. I shot up in a panic. Marcus, please don't leave like this. I'm not leaving, he said, steady and cold. You are. It wasn't until I stepped into the hallway that the full weight of what had happened crushed me. I thought I was walking into temptation. Instead, I found a reckoning. A husband acting as confessor and judge. And I knew I had no defense. 3 days passed. I didn't hear from him. He stayed at a friend's place. I stayed home, unable to speak the truth to anyone, choking on guilt and regret. Every buzz of my phone made me flinch. But it was never him. And then he came back. He looked different, like something inside him had calcified. I talked to Julian's wife, he said. What? I gasped. She deserved the truth. I nearly vomited. You had no right. He cut me off. And you think you had the right to lie to me? Silence. He didn't yell, didn't throw accusations. That made it worse. The restraint, the calm. It was chilling. I don't know if I can stay married to you, he said, but I'm not making that decision today. Then he laid out terms. Counseling. 0 contact with Julian. Full transparency. Passwords. Location sharing. All of it. It felt humiliating. But I agreed, because despite the damage I'd done, I didn't want to lose him. In therapy, we began pulling apart years of neglect. The way I stopped asking how his day was. The way he chose his laptop over my arms night after night. We had both disappeared. Me in spirit, him in presence, long before Julian entered the picture. One day in a session, I finally broke. I thought you didn't love me anymore. I cried. He looked at me, eyes raw. I didn't know how to show it. But I never stopped. And I deserve what you did. Julian reached out once more. A message from a new number. I miss you. I'm sorry. I blocked it instantly. No reply. 8 months have passed since that night. We're still married. Still in therapy. Some days it feels like we're building something entirely new from rubble. Other days it feels like nothing ever broke. We started leaving each other little sticky notes. On mirrors. In pockets. Silly messages. Honest ones. I told Marcus once, I'll never forgive myself for what I almost did. He said, I'm not asking you to. Just don't forget. And I won't. I never will. I didn't expect my husband to be the one waiting behind that hotel room door. But maybe, in some strange and painful way, he saved me.